My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Slay the Spire, specifically the daily challenge for July the 30th of 2018. Character is the Ironclad. We have the modifiers diverse, so cards are not restricted by our character. Lethality, we and our enemies start with +3 strength. And terminal, whenever you enter a new room, lose 1 max HP, but start each combat with 5 plated armor. The fact that it's plated armor means that it'll trigger at the end of the turn, and as a result I can't really use it with things like Body Slam, but it would trigger Juggernaut, at least. That said, I am only currently thinking about cards that exist within the Ironclad class, and I should broaden my horizons concerning this diverse modifier. We're obviously going to want things that synergize with strength, because we're going to have to rush down our enemies before they rush us down with that lethality modifier right there. Now, a lot of people have contested my choice oftentimes to go to supremely early shops, in particular in dailies, when, oh, if you just waited and went to a later shop, it would have had the same offerings, and you would have been able to pick up the whatever relic it was that I bemoaned not being able to buy at that point. The problem with that is, what if the first shop has garbage relics, and then the second shop actually has good relics? Why, like, it's functionally indistinguishable for me as to whether or not there are good relics in this shop or in the next instance of a shop. So should I go to this shop or not? It's not necessarily clear. I like to go to early shops so I can remove cards from my deck that I don't think particularly move towards my win condition, so that they aren't diluting the cards that I pick up following. And sometimes I go to a shop and I just see an item that will define my win condition. And being able to define that super early is extremely powerful. Now, it looks like maximum I get 1 elite this floor, which is... oh boy, that's a bit rough. Yikes. Okay, so I can get 3 midline rests, 4 question marks, and an early shop. That's not bad. I can get 2 question marks, 5 question marks, a shop, and a single rest. No, it's definitely this path. And I'll specifically go to the early shop. If nothing else, I'm just removing a... would it be a strike or a defend? Not certain. Cloak and Dagger is actually totally functional in this deck. Specifically, after I upgrade it, it is, you know, gain 6 block, add 2 shivs to your hand. Each of those shivs will deal 7 damage, so 14 damage by itself, split as well. And anything that benefits from multiple attacks will benefit multiple times from Cloak and Dagger, but even more than that, anything that benefits from multiple cards played will benefit 3 times from an upgraded Cloak and Dagger. So if we can make this a Shiv build, let's go. Feel No Pain! Oh my god! We'll make a Shiv Feel No Pain deck, because Shivs exhaust when you play them. So we can have Feel No Pain be our only source of defense. I'm doing it. That sounds super hilarious and fun. I'm doing it. Alright, definitely take the money. Hang on, did I just... oh no, I'm still going down the same path. Cool. Whew. Yeah, you know what? It just had to. It just had to, didn't it? There's no way that it wasn't gonna turn up. You can make it uncommon, but it's not going to affect me. We've got the Singing Bowl, which is going to make it extra... oh, Sword Boomerang is actually really, really, really good. I actually really want to go into this Shiv build, because I think the Feel No Pain Cloak and Dagger is going to be insane. And I also want to get as much max HP as I possibly can out of this, so that I can try and get the Stuffed modifier. I think I should still take the first Sword Boomerang. And the first upgrade here should be on the Cloak and Dagger, so that we're getting extra block from the Feel No Pain. Okay, hopefully we get the Feel No Pain this turn. We do. And then we get a Bash as a wake-up hit. Okay. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I was worried about. I have literally no possibility of full defending myself there. I needed Cloak and Dagger, basically, in order to have a chance to full defend myself. So that's going to be 6 block, and then that's another 6 on those shivs. So if I defend, it's 6, 4, 6, 5, which is perfect defense. Beautiful. If only we got that a turn earlier, we may have perfected this boss fight. That said, my general strategy is not going to be perfecting a lot of boss fights. And of course, general strategy. Self-forming clay. Whenever you lose HP in combat, gain 3 block next turn. Blade dance. Oh my god. It's happening. The dream is real. I have just come off of the back of trying to record so many different shiv runs for the silent. And then I play the ironclad and it's shiv time. Okay, video game. Okay. I could take the shockwave, but it's currently a little bit expensive for us. It does exhaust, so it has synergy with Feel No Pain, and being able to weaken our enemies is pretty big. But at the same rate, I think it's really difficult to take any card that isn't a shiv at this point. Letter Opener. Every time you play 3 skills in single turn, deal 5 damage to all enemies. Okay. This is a wee bit difficult. See, the thing is, oh my god, Dark Embrace would be just, you know, upgraded 1 energy whenever a card is exhausted. Whenever you play a shiv, draw a card. One of the problems I think we're going to run into here is just the dilution of all of these defends. So I desperately do want to remove another card here. And I kind of also want to take Hologram. I do want to War Paint, but like if I high roll with War Paint, it hits Blade Dance and something else. Okay, never mind. I thought I still had Cloak and Dagger unupgraded. I also kind of want the Happy Flower. The extra energy is really good. I have no rare cards in my deck, yet, rather. I'm going to try and keep the strategy fairly consistent. And I'm also not going to take the hologram here because I don't have the energy to bring anything back with hologram after I play it that I desperately want to play again. Definitely upgrade the Blade Dance and then the Feel No Pain. If this deck doesn't work, whatever. It was cool. I care far more in this particular run about getting the cool thing I theorized that suddenly started to appear to work than I do about getting a good score or anything like that. Stack, Recursion, Burning Pact, none of those go into this deck. Oh, 4 whole block. Don't mind if I do. Feel No Pain will eventually need to be upgraded. It didn't need to be upgraded specifically there, but did eventually need to be upgraded. Sword Boomerang is actually kind of here just to help us limp along while we try and put together this shiv build. Would I take Storm of Steel? If it were offered after this boss, would I take Storm of Steel? I don't think so. By not applying vulnerability there, I actually fully defended myself. It's like having rage always active. That's what I'll liken it to. Okay, so we're not going to be perfecting this fight. Yeah, that makes sense. And we also need to make sure that we are always ready to put the Guardian back on the ground, because if they get into their second form, we are screwed. Hell yeah. Actually going to choose to attack there and cop the 6 damage. Yeah. Because I figured it likely we were able to kill next turn if I did that. Okay. Wraithform, Hyper Beam, Reaper. Well, Hyper Beam is just a bunch of damage. Right? We don't have any orbs in our entire build, so it has no severe negative for us. Wraith Form for the intangibility for a couple turns is interesting when you remember that we don't really gain our block from block. We gain our block from exhausting cards. So Wraith Form giving us 3 upgrades to 4 turns of intangibility is not bad. If it wasn't for the fact that I had, like, currently in my deck have no AoE, and I definitely need AoE next floor, I would be taking the Wraith Form. But I have to take the Hyper Beam at the moment. Ah! God damn it, game. The only energy relic we're offered is the only energy relic I can't play in this deck at all. Gain an energy at the start of each turn. You cannot play more than 6 cards per turn. So there was a conversation. There was a comment recently that was saying that Velvet Choker is never a downside unless you have draw in your deck, which isn't true. Most of what you run into as a negative with the Velvet Choker is card generation, especially when you're running silent cards. The Cloak and Dagger is 3 cards. It's 1 Cloak and Dagger, 2 Shivs. Blade Dance is 4 cards. 1 Blade Dance, 3 of them are Shivs. Those are the kinds of things that really stand in your way with Velvet Choker. So you also have to consider that, as well as whether or not you have draw, as well as whether or not you have, energy manipulation kind of artifacts in your deck. You've got to think about those as well, is I guess what I'm trying to say here. So we don't have any self-damaging elements in our entire deck so far. We do have self-forming clay for if you lose HP in combat, gain 3 block the next turn. But the problem is self-damaging cards don't really exist in Silent or Defect, whereas they do exist in Ironclad. So effectively, I've just got like a super diluted pool of self-damaging cards, so I can't rely on the ability to build a self-damaging deck. So I don't think I go with Self-Forming Clay and Runic Cube. I definitely don't go with Velvet Choker, so we're going to be going with the Ori. At worst, Ori is 10 plus max HP from Singing Bowl. At best, it'll be a lot of Shiv cards. Probably none of those. Maybe Pummel. Okay, definitely Cloak and Dagger. Probably Finisher. None of those. Accuracy? I mean, Shivs. I could put Accuracy in this deck. I think for the memes, I will take Accuracy, but it's also worth noting that Riddle with Holes is, deals 6 damage 5 times. It's 30 damage for 2 energy, which isn't that bad. I mean, compare it to Hyper Beam, 26 damage to all enemies. Yeah, okay, it's not that good. It's not that bad. I'll take Accuracy, I'll take Finisher, I'll take Cloak and Dagger. I probably want another vulnerability trigger in my deck, especially a vulnerability trigger that I can play at the same time as Hyper Beam for a super kill. So we'll be taking the Thunderclap here. I recognize again that Pummel is 20 damage. 25 on its upgrade. But we need vulnerability to modify our other huge attacks. And also having many small attacks, having many small attacks is going to be really, really handy with a Finisher. Probably nothing here. If I already had a Dead Branch, you can bet I would take the Corruption, because then this would become a Shiv Dead Branch Corruption deck, which is, let me just run that by the old brain factory. Insane. Garbage insanity. Oh god, no. Oh god, no. One of them's on the ground. Hell yeah. I kind of just have to accept some damage here. Hey, good thing they didn't have Philo Stone, and then I took that. Really? This doesn't feel good. I think we're gonna have to use the energy potion. I think it's Bash, Hyper Beam, and then Finisher. Bash, Hyper Beam kills one of you, and then Finisher does 2 hits on the other. In addition to the hit from Hyper Beam, that puts this final bird on the ground. Okay. Ooh, I actually like Clash. Problem is, we do have some expensive cards that we can't always play out of our hand. So I can't take it. Oh well. Oh well. Find some potions? Sure. Fruit juice, definitely. Steroid potion, definitely. I'm not going to take the smoke bomb because I don't run from fights. I ain't like that. Ooh, hell yeah. Okay. Let's Steroid Potion, Thunderclap, Cloak and Dagger, Blade Dance. Time to murder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whee! None of that is necessary. Oh, remove a card from my deck, of course. Get a Defend out of there. Ritual Dagger is not that bad. I'll take it. It even got buffed recently to have a higher base damage before any modifier afterwards. I definitely have to upgrade the Hyper Beam. There's no two ways about that, especially because I've got these AoE fights coming up. 1, 2. Kill him. I would love to have played Feel No Pain that turn, but I'm terrified of getting attacked next turn. Oh, we got attack next turn. There we go. That's the best defense I have. Ooh, boy. Time for all the shivs. Really unfortunate to get Hyper Beam on that turn specifically. One turn after, and it would have been so much more powerful. Feel No Pain, and then hell yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we get pretty ridiculous defense, considering we also killed both of the frontliners there. I'm pretty pleased with that, all things considered. Omamori negate the next 2 curses you obtain, and if I didn't already have a Thunderclap, I would probably take the Beam Cell. I'm actually still a little tempted. I'm even a little tempted for Sweeping Beam. We don't have the energy. We'll take a Beam Cell because it'll allow us to get benefit without investing that much energy, which we kind of need at the moment because we don't have energy to invest. I guess I'm going to rely on the possibility of reshuffling the deck and getting back to the Ritual Dagger. It's Feel No Pain, Hyper Beam. Oh, it was obviously Beam Cell first. God, Ryan, that's a garbage play right there. We could have had, you know, solid 18 more damage in there. Actually, clearly it was a stalling play just so I could try and get to this turn. And then double defend myself here. I'm waiting for the Ritual Dagger. Okay. We'll defend ourselves again. Ritual Dagger, please. Give me the Ritual Dagger. Oh, no. Okay, now I just have to kill. Damn it. Skill Potion with Pommel Strike for the double draw. It definitely has a place in the deck. Again, energy is a big problem for us, but... well, I'm kind of hoping I get an Energy Relic after this boss. The Courier, merchants no longer run out of cards, relics or potions and their prices decrease by 20%. Ooh, Bag of Marbles at the start of each combat, apply 1 vulnerability to all enemies. That's pretty much essential. I think it's that and Flash of Steel, basically. Or it's that and a card removal. It could easily be a card removal. In fact, the more I look at it, the more it feels like a card removal. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Please save me. Okay, well, that's a weaken. I mean, as far as things that have the capability to save me, that was high up there. I also could have saved myself 7 damage at the very end there if I used the Liquid Bronze, because it would have died on the first 2 spikes as it hit me. Turbo and Sneaky Strike. With an upgraded Turbo, I think there's actually a possibility I take it. Consider our energy is our biggest limiting factor at this point. I understand that Combust would have given me 3 block a turn, but it's still really weak. God. Extra energy would be so good for this deck. I think we're probably just now dead. Oh, maybe not. Okay, we're out of that one. Mercury Hourglass at the start of your turn, deal 3 damage to all enemies. Whirlwind is like the obvious pickup in this deck. I kind of didn't want to take it, but I am also persistently terrified that I'm dead. See, the thing is, I also think if I don't upgrade my cards, I just die, but I also think if I don't rest here, and probably in the next space as well, I die. So it's basically a choose your own death kind of adventure. Couldn't have just gotten a Hyper Beam on the first turn there. Would have solved everything. Alright, Gambling Chip at the start of each combat. Discard as many cards as you like and then draw that money. Pretty handy. Not going to be taking any of those. And I'll be resting here. Because I think if we get to the Hyper Beam turn, which I think we're guaranteed to get to, that's not what I wanted to do. I was going to shuffle on that first turn, but I clicked the center of the screen, which just so happened to be where the badness was. See, this is the big problem. Look at this Whirlwind. It does approximately nothing. Oh, no! That was the card that had the ability to possibly keep us in the game, and it is now gone. There's our Hyper Beam back, I guess. Oh, double up on the Cloak and Dagger. Hell yes, let's go. 3 shivs on the back line. Get a new card back. There's the Feel No Pain. Probably not in the right timing. I mean, that's the best finisher hand we can currently get without any of our Shiv generations. I mean, we're just dead, right? Is there anything we can do? This is 37 modified by 18. So that's 55. 55 with 9 by 4. 9 by 4 is 36. So 55 and 36 is 61, 91. Yeah, we're still short on lethal, by the way, if we do that. So instead, we just decided to do the absolute most defensive turn that we could. And if that worked, it would have worked. So I rested in the final 2 positions, and I still didn't kill there. I will contend at this point, I believe it is not unreasonable that that run could have worked. And I think I would have had a better chance in that final fight, believe it or not, if I upgraded instead of resting. That's a lot of the time why, if I'm on low HP, I'll still upgrade. Because sometimes that upgrade is what can possibly stop you from dying in the following fight, which you're just guaranteed to die to otherwise. Cards I would have particularly liked to upgrade, Whirlwind, because it would have had the ability to possibly clean up those chumps. Whirlwind upgrades to 8, plus our 3 strength. That's 33 AoE in a Whirlwind versus the previous 24. It's an extra 9. It's pretty big. I also would have considered upgrading Beam Cell for the extra turn of vulnerability. I would have considered upgrading Cloak and Dagger for the extra Shiv, which is extra damage, but also extra results from Feel No Pain. If I'd shuffled my early hand by, not screwing up with the Gambling Chip, our opening hand wasn't complete garbage, but we should have been using that opening turn to set things up. So elements like Feel No Pain and Accuracy especially, we should have already tried to get into play. And missing out on the opportunity to do that was a bit rough. It may have altered the turns such that we ended up with Hyper Beam at the right time, but I also couldn't have guaranteed that. So that's a hindsight's 2020 kind of issue right there. I'm amazed at how much support we got for the possible Shiv deck. I think with like a second Feel No Pain and some way of just cheating those out early, we could have been in untouchable positions, but with just the one Feel No Pain and then so many other cards that we had to pick up just to cover our own weaknesses while we tried to wait for our Shivs, it was just really rough. Like, if you look at this deck and cut out these final 6 cards, these are all cards, I believe, that I took on the second floor as well. If you cut those out, the deck becomes a lot better. But these were kind of needed in the interim to try and keep us alive, because otherwise, a lot of the fights would have ended with us not playing a Feel No Pain and then just losing, due to having a bad Shiv deck with no defense against enemies that were doing 3 more damage. Per attack as well, per hit, not per attack. So, for the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully that was a good speed run. It must have been, right? 25 minutes.